Hello everyone, my name is Katya and today I'm going to show you how to crochet these placemats. It is an easy pattern. You can switch up the pattern and make it into a table runner by working more rows. The one that we'll be working on today is measuring at about 17.5 inches long without the fringe by about 10 inches wide. For this project, I'll be using yarn by Loops and Threads. It's a number 4 medium weight yarn and it is 100% cotton. And the color is called Bubblegum. You don't have to use this yarn. You can use any yarn of your choice. And you're also going to need your 6mm crochet hook. We're going to start with the slip knot and a chain of 32. If you want to change the size, you can work any even amount of chains. Plus 1. Continue chaining 32 loosely and I'll meet you back. Once you're done chaining 32, go ahead and chain one more. So total we have 33 chains. For round 1, we're going to work single crochet across. I'll be using the back loops of each chain, which are right over here in the back. But if you're having a hard time finding the back loops, you can just use the chains in the front. So into the second chain from the hook, don't count this one, here's 1, 2. We're going to work a single crochet and I'll be using the back loop, which is right over here. So go ahead and work your first single crochet. Now using the rest of the chains, you're just going to work one single crochet across. So pick up each loop. So right over here is the next back loop. I'm just going to pick it up and work a single crochet. And once you start working your single crochets using the back loops, they're easy to find. They kind of align and you'll be able to see them. So continue working your single crochet across. You should have a total of 32 single crochets at the end and then I'll meet you back. I'm coming to the end of round 1 and I have one chain left and right over here is the back loop. I'm going to go ahead and pick that back loop up and work my last single crochet. And at the end of round 1, we have a total of 32 single crochets. For round 2, we're going to chain 1. This chain 1 doesn't count as a stitch. Go ahead and turn your work back into this first stitch, which is right here. We're going to work one double crochet, pick up both loops and work a double crochet. To the following stitch, work a slip stitch. And let's repeat. Into the next stitch, work one double crochet. And now work a slip stitch using the next stitch. And that's the pattern. Into the next stitch, work one double crochet. And into the following stitch, work a slip stitch. Again, work one double crochet using the next stitch. And into the following stitch, work a slip stitch. You're going to continue and work on this pattern, working one double crochet into the next stitch and then a slip stitch into the following stitch all across, and then I'll meet you back. I'm coming to the end of row 2 and I have 2 stitches left. Into this stitch right here, go ahead and work one double crochet, and into the last stitch, work a slip stitch. And this ends row 2. And this is how it looks like. For row 3, we're going to start same way. We're going to chain 1 and turn our work. And now using the stitches where we slip stitch, we're going to work double crochets. And then the stitches where we worked double crochets in the previous row, we're going to slip stitch. So right over here, this is my slip stitch from the previous row. I'm going to go ahead and work a double crochet using that stitch. And now right over here is the double crochet stitch from the previous row. Go ahead and slip stitch. Let's repeat. Into this stitch right here where we slip stitched, we're going to work a double crochet. And next stitch is the double crochet stitch, and we're just going to slip stitch using that stitch. And try to work your slip stitches loosely, don't make them too tight. Let's repeat again. So right over here into this next stitch, work a double crochet. And right here on top of the double crochet from the previous row, work a slip stitch. You're going to continue on this pattern just into the slip stitch from the previous row. Go ahead and work a double crochet. And then right over here where the double crochet stitch is, you're just going to slip stitch using that stitch. Continue working until the end of this row, row 3, and then I'll meet you back. I'm coming to the end of row 3 and I have 2 stitches left. Into this stitch right here, I'm going to go ahead and work double crochet. And right here is my last stitch, and into this stitch I'm just going to work a slip stitch. So pick up both loops and work a slip stitch. And this ends row 3, and this is how it looks like. Now for the rest of the rows, we're just going to repeat row 3. We're going to start by chaining 1, turn your work, and right over here, our first stitch is the slip stitch that we did from the previous row. We need to work a double crochet using that stitch. The next stitch is the double crochet stitch from the previous row, and into that stitch, go ahead and slip stitch. And we're just going to repeat. Next stitch, go ahead and work a double crochet, and into the following stitch, work a slip stitch. Again, into the next stitch, work 1 double crochet, and into the following stitch, work a slip stitch. You're going to continue on this pattern and make your placemat as large as you want it to be. I'm going to continue and work on this rows, same exact way, and I'll meet you back and I'll let you know how many rows I work on total. I went ahead and I worked a total of 52 rows, which includes this row right over here of single crochets. And it is measuring at about 17 inches long by 10 inches wide. If you want your placemat to be longer, you can just continue and add more rows. Row 53 will be our last row. Let's go ahead and chain 1 and turn our work. And now we just need to work single crochets across. So right over here is our first stitch. We're going to go ahead and pick that stitch up and work 1 single crochet. And into the next stitch, work 1 single crochet. So right here is the slip stitch from the previous row. Work a single crochet using that slip stitch. And right over here is the double crochet, and into that double crochet stitch, work a single crochet. That's all you're going to do for row 53 is you're going to pick up each stitches, which is either a slip stitch or a double crochet from the previous row, and you're just going to work a single crochet using those stitches. Continue working and I'll meet you at the end of this row. At the end of row 53, this is how it looks like, and I worked a total of 32 single crochets. And to end, we're just going to go ahead and chain 1 and cut your yarn. Pull out your hook, tighten it. I added fringe to one side and this is how it looks like. If you don't like to add fringe, you can leave it like this, it's up to you. But if you're going to add fringe, you're going to need about 7-inch yarn strips, which I went ahead and already cut them. And we're going to go ahead and use the single crochet side right over here. I didn't weave in my yarn tails, I left them alone. I'm going to use them as fringe. And right here, using the single crochet side, we're going to go underneath the first single crochet. So go underneath using your hook. And now using first yarn strip, you're going to go ahead and fold it in half. And right here we created a loop. So using this loop right here, we're going to place the loop right where the hook is. And now we're just going to go ahead and using the hook, go underneath that stitch, bring up a loop. And using this yarn strip as well, we're going to use this loop and bring the yarn strips underneath the loop. And now go ahead and pull and tighten it. Next, I'm going to go ahead and skip this next stitch, and I'm going to continue and repeat the same process. Go underneath the following stitch, so skipping one stitch in between, fold the next yarn strip using this loop right here. We're going to place it on the hook and pull through. And now we're just going to wrap. You can use the hook by wrapping the yarn tails around the hook and pull through, or you can do it with your fingers. It's up to you. And then you're going to tighten it. Again, skip one stitch, and into the following stitch you're going to repeat the same process. Fold it in half using this loop, go underneath. You can drop the hook and use your fingers, or use the hook. It's up to you, whichever way is easier for you. And then now pull on this yarn tails and it'll tighten the loop. You're going to continue all across until the end. Once you're done with your fringe, which right over here I went ahead and I added one more at the end, you're going to go ahead and cut them. So mine is going to be about 1.5 inches. So I'm just going to go ahead and trim the ends with scissors. Take your time here, make sure they're all even. And our placemat is all finished. I want to thank you so much for watching this video. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.